Transformation doesn't come from fixing yourself, it comes from remembering who you already are.
Hi, my name is Terry Kerouac. I'm the founder of Shine.Online, your ultimate health and wellness directory, where you can search for your particular wellness challenge and find all the practitioners who specialize in addressing it. Today, we have one such amazing practitioner with us. Her name is Hanit Benbassat, and she's the founder of Your Infinite Possibilities, where she helps individuals break through limiting beliefs, release emotional blocks, and reconnect with their inner power. With a deeply integrative approach, she blends hypnosis, neurolinguistic programming, Qigong, breathwork, and energy healing to create profound, lasting transformations. Hanit specializes in guiding women through personal and spiritual growth, helping them move from self-doubt to confidence and clarity. Her work is centered on supporting individuals in reducing stress, increasing self-awareness, and aligning with their highest potential. Wow, I love that. Aligning with your highest potential. I think that's what we're all trying to do. Thank you so much for being with us and welcome, Hanit.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and share this space with you, Terry.
You seem to do so much from energy work, Qigong, breath work, and hypnosis. So that's such a wide range of things that you bring together. How did you get into doing all of this?
So it's all started as a personal journey. For years, I felt like I was living in a box of expectations, doing all the right things, but feeling disconnected from myself. Had this deep knowing that there was something more, something I wasn't tapping into, but I didn't know how to access it. And that led me into exploring different healing modalities, starting with breathwork. As a young mom with 3 children, I felt like out of breath. And they led me to looking through a journal, and I found this ad of come learn how to breathe. I was like, really? Learn how to breathe? That's interesting. But I felt like this deep calling that there is something in there for me. And that after this class, it actually was a breathwork and qigong class that adds so much more breath into my life. I was finally able to be aware of my behavior more clearly. It brought more calmness into my life, and like I said, extra breath and more space. But I felt like there is more into it. Into more self-development, and that led me into NLP. The NLP really support me with my self-development. That was the real catalyst. When I experienced the NLP and hypnosis for the first time, it was a complete shift. I realized how much of my life was shaped by subconscious patterns and I wasn't even aware of. And from that moment, I knew I wanted to help others access this kind of transformation because through the training, I saw the transformation, how the face changed, the energy changed, everything changed in such a short time. And I was like, wow, this is so powerful. Of course, I felt it personally too, but to see it in other people, I fell in love with that. So that's how I dove deep into studying hypnosis, NLP, more into the Qigong and breathwork. And over time, I integrated these techniques into an holistic approach that allows people to create a real lasting change in their lives. It's like a personal approach for each person. Whatever they need, that's what they receive. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Mm-hmm.
I love how practitioners are really growing unique toolkits, and yours incorporating the breath work, the qigong, which is movement, but also the hypnotism aspect to it. Can you tell us a bit more? Because I think A lot of people think, "Oh, I'll go on stage and start clucking like a chicken," because we've saw the entertaining side of things, but how can that help us grow, or how can that help us change our life?
Yeah, that's a very good question. No, so this type of hypnosis is different. So it's actually it's tapping into a deeper layer of the subconscious mind. It means that we're going down into alpha brain waves, and that means when we're in this alpha brain waves, it's a communication with the subconscious mind. So I'm speaking to the person is aware of what I'm asking, but the questions that I'm asking, the answer that he gives back, he or she, it's coming from the subconscious mind. So and many people are amazed by it because it's like, wow, it's like in a way I knew it, but I didn't know how. So it's giving an opportunity for a person to tap into the subconscious mind and look at their life experiences or beliefs that they form from a different angle, from a different perspective. And by us doing that, it brings so much clarity and wisdom into our life experience, and it's allowing us to go through a healing process of forgiving ourselves for others in our life, to our childhood. So it's a very deep modality that brings a lot of clarity and awareness. So when people going through the regression, sometimes it's like it seems to them like, wow, that's something I didn't even expect to see. Like, wow, that experience actually caused me to believe that belief. Wow. So it's a lot of a wow moment there, and also emotional release through this process. But what I love about hypnosis is that you don't need to go through the whole story like you're doing in, let's say, in therapy or psychology, when you actually go in and speak and always share how you feel and you relive your own experience. With hypnosis, you just looking at it like you're looking on like as an observer from the outside, and it's allowing you to disconnect from that and shifting the energy around it. And while we're there, it's like taking out the root of the problem and instead installing something new, the the empowering belief that we want to install there. And it's all based on the client, of course, words and choices. It's not something I decide for them. It's all a personal choice. That's how powerful it is. So what I love about this technique is like people sometimes can go with trauma for 20 years and in one time can shift tremendously. And yeah, that's how powerful it is. That's why I fell in love with it, because it's like I love release people from suffering, right? It's like, why suffer if you can um do something for yourself?
So, if I understand correctly, we can look at our unconscious beliefs that might be blocking us. And I know that we may have a lot of viewers who may not be receiving the income that they're looking for. So there may be some subconscious blockages to wealth, or people who are healing and say, I've tried everything. There might be some subconscious blockages to healing. So with hypnosis, you're able to go in and uncover what those unconscious or subconscious blockages could be. Do you go in and say, "What's your blockage?" Or you have to go explore and dig for that to come up?
Yeah, so how it works is usually, and I love that you're asking, because some people come in like you go into the supermarket with a list of problems, right? So we have a discovery called prioritizing what is the main challenge that the person is going through their life. So by us prioritizing, it's really helpful to take one subject that is the most pressure one and working around that. And what I discovered that when we tap into that, it's shifting many other things. So it can be that some other challenges will be solved. If it's like communications in relationships, some confidence issue at work, it's like a ripple effect. So we're starting with one, and then we see the next. So my work is to support people, not just like you come and fix that. I never see it as a fix. It's actually transform. It's usually like around 30 days journey. So the first conversation we made that we prioritize what they want to work on. And then when we're doing the session, and after the session, they receive a personal recording of transformation that they listen for 30 days. And along these 30 days, they always keep in touch with me and update me of what's going on. And the reason that I'm doing that is that I really help people to pay attention to the small changes. Those small changes are so important to pay attention to, because we know wherever we put the focus, that's where the energy flows. So that allow people to pay attention to those small changes and not taking it into granted. Is actually give them more power. It's like helping the rewiring of the subconscious mind to pay attention to how life is much better than we tend to believe or what we used to believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Once you start unraveling things and transforming them, that ripple effect has benefits on your entire life in ways that you may not always realize. So you can get surprises in how things align in other parts of your life.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, so how do you fit breath work or Qigong into all of this?
So it really depends on the individual. We typically start with a deep dive conversation to uncover the root cause of what's holding them back. And this isn't just about surface level issue, it's about understanding where certain patterns originate and how they've been reinforced over time and what needs to shift. So from there, I use hypnosis that help rewind the limiting beliefs, the breathwork to release stored emotions. So each session is customized, and I always provide clients with the tools so they can use outside of our sessions to continue their transformation.
You have a pretty big toolkit beyond the ones we've just mentioned. What other techniques do you use?
So, like we said, the hypnosis, the NLP, the breath work, the Qigong, and some energy work like color therapy, for example. I'm sometimes doing workshops with color therapy, and yes. So, and the reason is that sometimes people don't want to use their mind. They don't want to analyze anything. They just want to lay down and relax. And this energy modalities is really supportive to help people shift energetically. And when we shift energetically, it's really making more space for us to tap into another part of ourselves, into more awareness. One of the things that is important for me when people come to me for a session is to really see if they're even ready for it. Because sometimes people looking for a press a button solution. That's it. It's like you push a button and it's gone. And it doesn't work that way because we are humans and there are some layers that build around it. Yeah, but it's a choice. If you choose to transform, I'm here to support you. And what I'm saying, choosing, it means that you know that sometimes when you remove one issue, maybe something else will come out and some emotion can rise. Are you choosing to deal with it? Like, are you ready to kind of like shift in that as well? That's
Mm.
very important.
I
Mhm.
think a lot of people spend a great deal of their life avoiding unpleasant emotions. And at a certain point, it's like the body and the mind say, we can't ignore this anymore. And it's almost like your body, your life starts to rebel until you address it. It's unfortunate that sometimes your life has to blow up a little bit for you to realize that you can't run away from addressing and moving through those difficult emotions and healing them and accepting them in many ways. I love the idea of color therapy because that is very gently tapping into emotions, but also tapping into the childlike wonder. I don't know why I associate color with childhood.
Yeah, and you're right. What I like about the color therapy work is that it is bringing a lot of playfulness. So there are different workshops that I'm doing around that. It can be like something like even intuitive drawing or just like really connecting to the inner child. I love this type of work because it really allows people to connect with themselves beyond of what they thought they were able to connect with. So the idea of that is like really planting a seed of like playfulness can be in anything in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that some people like to take life seriously, but some people have forgotten playfulness. And so you're giving them an opportunity to do that, which is fantastic. Now, what kind of problems are well matched to what you do?
So I work primarily with women who feel stuck, unseen, or disconnected from themselves. Many of them have spent years prioritizing others, family, career, responsibilities, without taking the time to truly connect with what they want or who they are beyond those roles. And they often struggle with self doubt, emotional exhaustion, a limiting belief that hold them back from fully stepping into their power. And through my work, I help them release those internal blocks and reconnect with their intuition and confidence. I use combination, as we discussed, of hypnosis, NLP, breathwork, Qigong, and energy healing to guide them through deep subconscious reprogramming, emotional release, and energetic alignment. And my goal is for them to feel lighter, freer, and more in control of their own life and playfulness. It's really connecting to that part of like ease, being more ease. And I'm not teaching, I'm just reminding them that that's it's something we all born with, and it's like our right to enjoy life and be playful, right? So, yeah.
What kinds of experiences have your clients had?
One of my clients came to me struggling with severe anxiety and self doubt. And she felt like she was constantly battling with her inner critic that kept telling her that she wasn't good enough and she's not smart enough or worthy enough. And through a combination of hypnosis and daily subconscious reprogramming, she began to notice shifts almost immediately. Like within weeks, she started feeling lighter, more confident, more in control. She even had the courage to start a new project she had been holding back for years. And it was a complete transformation, not because she became someone new, but because she finally let go of the beliefs that were hiding who she really was. And that's what I want people to know, that it's everything is inside of you, that there is so much beauty and wisdom and joy and rightness to live life in a higher level in themselves. So yes.
That's beautiful. And I think that we see that a lot sometimes with empty nesters who have devoted their lives to raising their children. And now they're at home alone and they're like, who am I? I think this is a great option here to help you discover your true self and align to who you really are and who you've grown into. Now, when someone works with you, is it a one-time appointment and then there's recordings for a month and then we see you again in a month?
Because it's personalized. There are few options. So the basic one is the 30 days, of course. And after 30 days, we have another 30 minutes call of seeing what next. Like, do you want to continue? Because this whole 30 days, you get the support. And many people take advantage of it because they start in a momentum and they want to continue and shift. It's like, okay, if I shifted that quick and it wasn't a big problem to shift and it wasn't painful, why not to continue and develop more? And it's really bringing a lot of awareness to women that start doing this work, that it's possible to shift without suffering along the way. And they trust the process and they feel very supported. So yeah, and later on, there, like I said, they can do another hypnosis or like the other various tools that I'm using. Again, we're building the program that is fit right to them.
Wow. What I like about your approach is it doesn't sound scary. It sounds gentle, and it sounds like the support that you provide during that month means that you're not alone. You're not navigating your transformation alone. And if there's questions or you're unsure about what you're processing, that you're accessible. And that feels like such a safe way to transform your life.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yes, there are hard emotion, challenging emotion, but it doesn't need to be painful. Even if you give yourself like few minutes to sit with one emotion that you're going through at that specific moment, it will feel so much lighter. It can be so much easier if you get the right support. Yeah.
I have heard that people are so afraid of feeling this thing that they didn't want to feel. And when they actually go through it, it was like it I made it so much worse in my own head, and it really wasn't that bad. Would you have any tips that you could share with our viewers on things that they can do to help themselves shift?
Yeah, definitely. Here's three that might surprise people. So the first one is your energy speak before you do. Before you even say a word, your energy has already communicated everything about you. So if you're feeling stuck or disconnected, try shifting your physical energy first. Move, breathe deeply, shake out tension. It's often the quickest way to shift your mind as well. So that's the first one. The second one is intuition is quieter than fear. So listen differently. Many people mistake their loud, anxious thoughts for intuition, but true intuition is usually calm, clear, and immediate. So the idea is here to practice noticing the first feeling you get before your mind start analyzing. Your initial knowing is often the right one. So it's just like really feeling the difference between those two. And the third tip is about your nervous system. Your nervous system has to feel safe before change can happen. So you can't force transformation through willpower alone. If your nervous system is in a fight or flight mode, it will resist change. So try grounding techniques like breathwork again, tapping, or simply placing your hand on your heart and reminding yourself, I am safe to expand. And this creates the eternal space needed for a real change.
Wow. Oh, those are 3 amazing tips. One that I really am resonating with is the tip number 2 about fear, that intuition is quieter than fear. My dad, who has dementia, he's feeling very insecure and unsafe, and I actually created this this little Post-it note for him that I have here, and it says, "Don't believe your fears, they are lying to you." Because oftentimes, even for myself, we're thinking about a path of action, and I will ask myself, is this guidance or is this fear? Which one do we listen to? And I love the tips that you gave about intuition, is that first knowing before the analysis comes in and starts snowballing things. Those are wonderful tips.
Thank you. I want to add to that actually. It's coming from Access Consciousness method. It's so lie is heavy and the truth is lighter. So if you think in one thought and it feels heavy in your body, that's a lie. That's the fear. But if it feels lightness, even if it doesn't make sense, it light, that's the truth. So go with it. And I find myself so many times along the way in my life, intuition just kicked in. It didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense sometimes. It's like, it doesn't make sense. But I decide to be playful and go with it. And I realize it brings me so much blessing into my life because I'm not going through what I'm expecting myself to do. I'm just listening to my own intuition, and that's the truth. That's like the voice of the soul that is calling you and telling you, there is something else that you didn't notice. Go through this path and you'll see. And it's beautiful. It's always bringing me this sense of, like, thank you. Thank you for listening to myself. Yes.
Wow. I really love that because as a logical person, I tend to analyze everything. In my corporate life, I used to be a strategic planner and a risk analysis expert. And I think for me, that's where I tend to struggle with intuition when it doesn't make sense. And you have to almost blindly follow things that feel like intuition, even though you may not see the logic behind it. I only end up seeing the logic to it almost after the fact. Y After I've done it. Now then I go, "Oh, now I get it." But beforehand, I didn't have all of the pieces. Sometimes it's just about a leap of faith and starting to trust your intuition. And the more you practice listening to your intuition, this is what I've discovered as I'm exploring letting go of that analytical self that I have. The more I practice listening to my intuition, the more I start trusting it that it's leading me down the right path, even though it doesn't always make sense. Do you find that as well?
Yeah, totally. And it's like through the years, I learned to trust it more and more because I know it's like sometimes the energy is not there for us and the energy is someplace else. So go with that, and your days will be so much better. And I had even a day that it's like I had so much to do, and it's like I'm kind of like stuck. It doesn't flow the way I want it, and didn't feel inspired in my actions. And I decided, you know what? Instead of like forcing myself into it, I'm just gonna leave it, go someplace, enjoy nature, whatever, coffee with friend, and after I came back after a few hours, whatever was supposed to take me a whole day, it was only 2 hours and I'm done. And it felt so uplifting. It felt so good. It's like, that's how it's supposed to be. Life is that. It's about lightness and ease and inspired action and not forcing, right?
It brought up a memory for me in university. I have the kind of memory where I'll study throughout a course, but cramming for me always worked because if I refreshed my memory the night before an exam, it stuck with me and
Mm.
it would work for the next day. I would remember it and I would recall it. But every single time that the night before, when I was sitting down to do my cramming ritual, I was depleted. I had a headache. I needed to rest. And I would struggle. I was like, "No, no, no, I need to do my cramming ritual to be able to get a decent grade." And and it was like, "No, I can't." So I would just accept that I might fail this course because I could not study. And every single time I did that, the class next day was canceled. The exam was rescheduled. The teacher was called away. Like something would happen. And 100% of the times that I didn't cram before the exam didn't happen, and I was able to rest and redo it and do a great job on the test at a different time. The message I told myself years ago was, "Okay, if it's for my best interest, my highest interest, it will align. Don't worry." So, for the viewers watching us, have you had incredible experiences like this where you followed your intuition and it didn't seem logical? I want to hear this in the comments. Tell us about a time where you followed your intuition, it didn't make sense, and it ended up being exactly what was needed for you. I love hearing these types of stories. Hanit, it was so amazing speaking to you today. Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our viewers?
Oh, thank you, Terry. It was a great pleasure for me as well. Yes, I want people to know that they are not stuck. They are just in the space between what was and what is becoming. So the most powerful thing you can do is trust. Trust yourself. Trust that even if you don't have all the answers right now, you are capable of navigating whatever comes next. transformation doesn't come from fixing yourself, it comes from remembering who you already are.
Wow. Transformation doesn't come from fixing yourself. It comes from remembering who you already are. Wow, I love that. I had to repeat it because that had a lot of impact on me. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Hanit, for joining us today and sharing your beautiful gifts and how you help make this world a better, happier, more joyful, healed place through all the tools and talents that you have. It was such an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dre, for all that you do and for everyone watching us. Thank you so much.
And to all our viewers, if you'd like to reach out to Hanit, we will have a link in the comments and the description below of how you can reach her directly through her Shine webpage. It is such a pleasure to have you join us on these videos, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.
Wow. We had such an amazing conversation. Thank you, Terry. It's like it brought so much joy into my heart.